What's going on, everyone? We are back for another edition of the Bleed Los podcast, Carne Asada. We have a great show tonight. The Dodgers took the series win against the Twins. Shohei put the team on his back, and the starting rotation is coming together at last. All that and more coming up next. Hi again, everyone. I am Drea. I am joined tonight by Anthony. This episode is brought to you by DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest and most comprehensive coverage of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's your one-stop for articles, interviews, contests, merch, and more. Never miss a beat and check out DodgersBeat.com. Anthony, it has been a roller coaster of a week. We survived. How have you been?
I've been doing good. It just feels like these weeks are just becoming like years now. It's just like I didn't think coming into the season that we would have like a lull like this, but it's part of baseball, ups and downs. Unfortunately, we're facing a lot of downs, but I hope better days are ahead.
Yeah, I do. I was getting hard to watch the Brewers take one and then another one and then another one, and we don't often get completely swept by a team the entire season. So that was a little bit concerning because I wasn't super worried about the Brewers going in. I thought, okay, they're a team, but they're the team, and I think right now they are. I think my question to you is, should we be more worried about them come postseason, or are they just peaking right now? What do you think?
No, I think we should be absolutely worried about them.
Okay.
If I was a Brewers fan or a Brewer player in that organization, like why should I fear the Dodgers? We just swept you cleanly,
Uh,
pretty convincingly too. It wasn't like we put up a good fight against them. So I would be going into that potential series like with all the confidence in the world. Like, yeah, we can hang with these guys. We can beat these guys. More importantly, and like I know they're the world champions. We should respect them, but I don't fear them. That kind of scares me as a Dodger fan. Like, wow, these guys really don't. They don't. I don't want to say they don't care, but they don't fear us, which is a different thing.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they had any fear at all to just kind of go full force. And I've been seeing like that trend lately with more and more teams we're playing, the aggressiveness. They're like not afraid to run on us. There people are like, we're just gonna go, fast, hard, and mean when we go up against the Dodgers. And once the Dodgers fall behind a little bit, it scares me that they won't always come back. Now, luckily we kind of got it together right there at the end, but the Brewers series really kind of it was really shining a light on where our weaknesses are, and just way too many errors, way too much way too many defensive mistakes. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing we really need to clean up, because we're not showing enough consistency. Even though, yes, we're winning, we are at the top of baseball in many ways, but people that follow the Dodgers closely have been saying consistently that this is some of the worst play we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's
Just
been really bad.
it has been. Obviously, there are some high points, and we'll definitely talk about it. But in your opinion, like, what is the biggest need? Like, when they're in their room, when they're all talking, maybe having their meetings, like, what they're trying to pound into like their brains? Like, this is what we need to really focus on come the next 2 months.
I think it's just more of everyone has to like hold themselves accountable from like the last guy on the roster to like even Shohei. Even though he's doing everything, but like there still has to be a level of accountability with everyone. And you could kind of tell like in their post game coverage that we have here on our website, Kershaw looked really frustrated when he was being interviewed.
Right.
And like a lot of people came up to me at work or at other locations. They're like, "Hey, like what's going on?" I'm like, "Look, those guys are frustrated in there, and rightfully so. And it means like for me as well, like when I'm watching these games and I'm watching them blow it and blow it and blow it, I'm frustrated as well too. So I mean,
Mhm.
the emotions are starting to boil over. It's not gonna go to the point where like guys are fighting each other. It's just like kind of. It's better if they have like just a let it all say off. Just like everyone, okay, like we all know we're playing bad. We're clearly not playing to our level, our standard, the standard the fans hold us to. Like let's just have this open forum. Like just let it all out, and like we'll just go from there. So I think it's better if they just like kind of just hash it out and like just one on one, like hey, like maybe the offense should do this, maybe the defense we got to play better, the bullpen because it feels like it's everywhere. Like we're struggling everywhere. Like no one's really like. And if I feel bad for some of our starters too, because like Glass now he comes back from the IL and he's been absolutely dealing and he's getting like 0 run support. And like Yoshi's probably like, hey, like, yeah,
Join.
welcome to the club, basically. So, but yeah, I feel like it's just like one guy struggles, so like now everyone struggles kind of thing. It's kind of just like one of those like things that happens.
It's contagious. It feels
Yeah.
like they all did it at the same time because I think one of the things with it, we have so much talent that we can afford maybe one or two guys to struggle, but when they're all struggling at the same time, it's just so cringeworthy. I'm like not used to seeing my Dodgers look this way out there. I'm so certain they'll get it together, but it just seemed like such a prolonged period of time where we're just like, I feel like, how am I going to keep the TV on? I just want to turn it off and just, pray for the
Yeah.
best. But yeah, I made it through it, watched it all, and I just kind of, said, okay, this is our slump, and every team has a slump. That's, trying to remind myself of the good stuff. And hey, just get it out of the way now. Clean it up. Better it happen before the deadline if that's what we have to do. But it's definitely something that they're talking about it. So I'm not thinking they're not, but I definitely hope to see a lot of that cleaned up as we go into, August and September. But there was something that we brought up last episode. We discussed Shohei possibly going into a different part of the lineup order and thinking that might help him out. And sure enough, within a couple of days of us talking about it, luckily they felt our vibe and
Yeah.
Roberts offense did it. And so now he's batting second. For how long? Unsure. But it seemed to have some effect because we got to see what everyone's been waiting for, a first inning where Shohei pitched and he hit a homer. Now he's done it 13 times in his career, but the first time as a Dodger, we got to see it. So all that was super exciting. Your thoughts on Shohei's last outing? He keeps getting better and better, I think.
Yeah, he was pretty good. It was the first time where he actually got hit. Buxton had that homer off him, and like I hate to say it, but I was kind of glad. Like, okay, like it's not perfect. Like, let's see how you respond to it, and he responded really well to it. I might just be the pessimist because like I want to see how guys respond to not controversy, to adversity. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And he responded really well. He kind of just went back to Shohei. He's like, okay, you hit one off me, okay, and like kept moving. I do like him there on the 2 spot, especially in days where he's pitching, just because I feel like he just needs a breather. He's out there in the hot sun throwing either like 10, 15 pitches, going all out full force, and like immediately the inning ends and he only has like a minute or two to catch his breath and like get his gear on, and like he's back to batting. So I prefer him there at the 2 spot. I don't know about Mookie batting first though. That's kind of the one where I'm like, this guy's really struggling. I've seen people suggest maybe throwing Kim up there at the first leadoff spot, and I'm like, we're gonna experiment with that now. I kind of want to see it now. Kim has been really one of our consistent at bats, at least, and like I want to see what he looks like at the leadoff spot. If we're setting the table for Shohei, maybe why don't we just set the table with Kim at the start of the game?
That's actually a really good thought. I'm glad you said that because it's been making more sense to like have, and he gets on base, so have someone there for Shohei. And I don't know, Shohei activates just like Freddy does when they see runners in scoring position or runners on base. I think it just gives them more motivation to say, hey, I'm bringing this guy in. I'm bringing these guys in.
Yeah.
So I think it's actually a really smart thing that they could probably, hey, now's the time to experiment. So yeah, I would be all in on that one. But we'll see definitely what's going to happen with the lineup because, they're now going to go into the postseason dress rehearsals, if you will, like what is the best, lineup, what's the best way that we can, put the guys for max effectiveness in the next couple of months and really just see what we have as we get ready for October. But that's a good one. But yeah, Shohei's still doing Shohei things. What I love is that for the first time in his career, he has gone, I guess he's now 5 consecutive games with a home run, which is always fun because everyone who goes to a game gets to see a Shohei home run. So once he hit the 4 mark, he was already at his record. So now 5 puts him in very elite category with some select Dodgers of our past, like Max Muncy, Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Kemp, Peterson, Campanella, Green. I mean, he is always breaking a record. I don't think a time goes by when we don't see Shohei break some amazing record. So just I think we're just gonna have another 2 months of looking forward to some incredible things from Shohei. And one that I really did, even though he struggled a little bit in the second inning, I liked Yamamoto's outing. I did, even though there was that he got hit, he knew he came back from it. So definitely loving him. Still would call him the ace, but now I was hesitant to say it. Do you think that Glasnow now back is showing a lot of promise. Do you think we have co-aces now in them?
Yeah, the issue why I won't fully commit with Glass now is because I'm just afraid he's gonna just get hurt again. He's
Yeah.
just that's the only thing that's holding him back is his injuries. Because when he goes out there, he's really, really dominant, and he
Okay.
strikes guys out, which is the most important part. He's not letting guys get on base and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The past couple of days, I've kind of just been like tossing and turning, like what the rotation would look like, what guys in the bullpen would look like, and like I wrote down, like, I know you asked me a few episodes ago, like what a potential playoff rotation would be like. So I wrote one down today, and the three names that I have listed are Yamamoto, Glasnow, Shohei, and then I
Hmm.
put interchangeable Glasnow and Shohei because if it's a 5 game set, do I throw Glasnow game 2? Do I throw Shohei game 3 if I only get to use them one time in series?
Yeah.
So like that's why I've been tossing and turning. Like, damn, I do not like despise Dave Roberts or Andrew Freeman for making these decisions because I'm like, well, what if I want Shohei game 2? What if I want Glasnow game 3? And then like I have a bunch of other guys here listed that I need to see more. But yeah, Glasnow is making a solid case to be I think the second guy behind Yamamoto. I still give Yamamoto the edge because he's done it all year long. He's been our
Mm.
guy all year long, so I kind of want to ride with him all year. But Glasnow is making a very solid like case for him to be number 2, and so is Shohei. So like I think it's a competition between those two to see who solidifies the number 2 role.
Yeah, we have to even start thinking deeper about even Snell and Sasaki because
Yeah,
they'll looking like they're going to be joining us fairly soon. And I don't know what what Sasaki may look like this season, but we have a lot of pieces that we may have to kind of make decisions on as the next 2 months go by. Now, provided they're all healthy, of course. But I think one of the strengths we have right now, which I did not expect because it's pitching is always such a thing with us, but we're starting to see more strength in our pitching, our starting pitching.
yeah.
The relief pitching we'll talk about in a little bit. That keeps me up at night because I don't know what happened to them. But before we get into all of that, I just want to get your thoughts on Freddie. I mean, I know that since the last time we spoke, we watched the documentary. I think that was one of the last things that we were talking about in our
Yeah,
last episode. And I mean, I feel like I knew a lot about him, but I feel like even now there's so much more respect. I mean, I always looked at him as Mr. Clutch. I knew he had a very emotional background. I just wanted your thoughts on the documentary, assuming that you watched it. Wasn't
I
it
did.
amazing?
Yeah, I caught it.
So,
Yeah, you learn a lot about his life and his like upbringing, and like it's just like I know he said he's only going to play for like a few more years till his contract runs out and then he'll retire. But I think I'm a fan of his basically for life. Like whatever
mhm,
he ends up doing, like I always be rooting for him. It's very like he's a very emotional guy, and like we've seen it. Like when the minute he signed with us, he was very emotional, and like throughout the journey, he's been very emotional. So
mhm.
I just love this dude. Like he's really is a true like hitter. He'll be in the Hall of Fame whenever he decides to retire. But yeah, his like I love like his upbringing is very like personal, but like a lot of people might be able to relate to that because they might have had the experience of losing a mother or a father, so they can relate to Freddie Freeman. Like not because like what he does for his career, yeah, he's a professional baseball player, but he did go through something very, very personal that affected him at a young age when he was still developing. He wasn't even a teenager yet, uh,
Right.
and then he also goes through that moment where he's about to lose his father as well too. So now he's like it's just a whirlwind of emotions. So that's why I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to Freddie Freeman, the human, more than the baseball player. But yeah, for me, I love the
Mm.
documentary and I love that he's finding his groove back at the plate and he's back to being Freddie.
Yeah, he's looking like Freddie again. Even with injury after injury, I was getting really worried because he got hit on the wrist in the last
Yeah,
series. And I thought, I mean, at that moment, I mean, shades of Mookie went through my head, Shohei sliding into second, thinking, we can't, even though Freddie had been kind of, here and there in June, he's still Freddie Freeman. He will always find a way to get back in. But if his wrist goes down, if something major happens, he's out. And to see him just come back and be so dominant and provide us with that walk off, I loved what Joe Davis said at the very when he walked it off yesterday. I'm sure you caught it, where he said "Shades of October in July,"
yeah,
and I love that because it's like you see Mookie got on base. like kind of like by the skin of his teeth, he got on. Bases are loaded, and it's like you see the activation in Freddie, like, okay, bases loaded. I'm Freddie Freeman. I'm gonna do it. And when Joe Davis made that call, he always seems to be on the call when something like really cool happens like that. I feel like there's a piece, even though no one will ever be Vin, but do we have another Vin in the making? How lucky are we to have Joe Davis? I know we haven't talked a lot about him, but I think he's
Yeah. I hate to group the two together because
yeah,
like they're both iconic in their own like ways, and like I hate to compare the two, but yeah, Joe has a lot of great like lines that are gonna stick with me
yes.
for life. Basically, of like uh, the Freddie Freeman Grand Slam. I think it's just like etched into my head.
Hmm.
Uh, he's also had a bunch of other ones throughout the years, like "What a Magical Moment," "What a Magical Night," stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the ones that come to mind are also like ones that he has that are not Dodger related for whatever reason, because a lot of people they feel like he's biased just because he's a Dodger announcer, but like he shows the same kind of emotion when he does the national games for the other teams, so stuff like that. But I don't know. I think Vin will always be my number one, just because like it takes me back to like when I was 6, 7 years old and I was first starting to learn the game of baseball, and like I would turn the game on and like it felt like my grandpa was telling me a story, but like
Mhm.
and I hate to admit it, I wouldn't watch the baseball. I would just listen to the stories basically, like because at that young age you really don't know what's going on, like the inner and outs, like I do now. So I'm kind of just like watching for hits or home runs and stuff like that, but I'm listening to the stories the whole time. And like every time that it pops up like randomly on my TikTok or on my Instagram, like I'll sit there and I'll stop and like I'll watch the whole like 5 minute clip and like just pretend like I'm 7 years old again. So I hate to compare the two, but I love that they're both Dodgers. Basically, they're our guys.
I feel like we just keep getting so lucky. I mean, with all the adversity the Dodgers have been through, I feel like there's this like heavenly light that shines over Chavez Ravine that gives us these amazing figures that, not necessarily on the field, but off the field. So having Vin, having Joe Davis, and all of the people that cover the team, it's fabulous. So kind of just wanted to, it's a little off the topic, but I really did enjoy it. Oh, and I think he's getting a bobblehead at the end of the season. I think they postponed the Joe Davis bobblehead.
Yeah,
That's going to be a fun. I'm definitely going to want to check that one out. But I'm hoping they put a little voice box in it, and then maybe it's the Gibby meet Freddy. Who
they
knows?
used to do those little like I remember when I used to go as a kid. There were I don't even think they were bobbleheads. They were almost like action figures, and like you'd press the back of the button and like it would
Mhm.
speak and say something.
Yes.
I remember I think I had a Tommy Lasorda one. I may be like completely just like wrong on it, but I'm very like I just like remember having like a Tommy Lasorda one and being
I
upset that like it broke. Uh, but yeah, they gotta bring back like cool bobbleheads like that, like
think they
interactive ones and
do.
stuff like that.
I hope that they do that because I really do enjoy those.
I was
Um,
it reminded me of Kike's Instagram story, like how he was complaining about his bobblehead being generic. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of on your side. Like, I want a unique Kike bobblehead. I don't want just a generic one.
I mean, when is Kike not iconic? And I think that kind of is a nice segue to yeah, he's not hitting, not playing right now. He's sitting there with his 1.95 batting average, uh with two popsicles in his hand. Did you see his
Yeah,
I mean, do we have the next iconic Kike moment like the bananas? Do we need to bring out the rally popsicles? Your thoughts on Kike?
maybe. I mean, it was a pretty hot day yesterday, so
Yeah.
as you can see too, he was going guns out too as well, suns out, guns out, and like I was watching. The game was so like I hate to say it, but like those first 5 innings were so dull. So like I'm glad that the guys in the studio panned over to Kike in the dugout, and like even Oro himself said like, can we just put it back on Kike, because like the game was really not interesting in those first 5 innings, and like so I'm sitting there kind of like getting ready for work, and I'm watching like, oh, that look, Kike has a popsicle. I'm like, all right, like summertime's not playing, like enjoy it, and like out of nowhere he just pulls out a second one. Like I just started dying of laughter, and like of course it's like a lighthearted moment, but like that's kind of like I feel like it helps break the tension a little bit. Like guys are kind of on edge and stuff like that, and like little moments like that kind of just gets like guys to chuckle for a bit and like get their mind off the game for a bit. So, but yeah, double popsicles, like I don't know, I think there'd be an argument in this household of, like if I started eating two popsicles and like my brother came in and he's like, yo, like what's up, like why you got two of them? So we'll see.
I mean, Kike can do things that it's almost like, okay, yeah, who thinks of that? But Kike thinks of that. I love it. He's going to activate into postseason Kike, and he's there for the vibes right now, and that's just what we accept. But he will go full force in October, and I think we all know that about him, so we put up with all of it. But I think right at the end of the game when Freddy was celebrating, he was the first to jump on Freddy, and I got shades of Kike and his jumping or slamming his arm into Bellinger or.
Oh yeah.
Over celebrating, if you will. And that scares me too, because Freddie doesn't need another injury. So we love you, Kike, but you maybe just, don't hop on Freddie too much because we need him.
You kind of could see Freddie kind of like brace for like impact
He
too,
did.
because he's coming full force. But yeah,
I know. They know who Kike is, and I think that he's just such a great addition to the team, even if he's not super contributing right now. But I did want to get your thoughts on, as we transition into just a little more pitching, some of the newer bullpen pieces that we just brought up in the last week. We saw Alexis Diaz up for, I guess, the first time, along with Edgardo Enriquez, who had been out for a little bit. Looked like some nerves hit them and quite have the best outing. And mind you, this was the game when everything just collapsed after Yamamoto's outing, when Kasparius walked everyone. Klein, nobody seemed to do well that day. It was just a curse over, everything. But the bullpen is obviously going to be a big need coming up. But what were your thoughts on them? And do you think, I know the bullpen is going to be a big, target this week,
yeah.
but those two in particular, because they're good, but they seem like, I don't know what got to them. What did you think?
Yeah, I think Alexis Diaz just needs a little bit more time. And I think Edgardo, nerves just like ate him alive. Because he misplays the ball. Looking back at the play, he misplays it initially, and then he rushes the throw, and then he just throws it to the outfield. It was one of those moments where I'm sitting there with my dad, I'm tired, and I'm trying to focus on the game, and I see that happen. I'm like, oh man, this thing. I said I could have told him when things go bad, they just go worse. And I was I looked at the replay, and I'm like, oh man, he bobbled it, and he tried to make a play, but I think it was better if he just ate it. But everything is happening so fast, so he just kind of just chucked it to the outfield. So I hate to cast judgment on him. I'll talk about my confidence meter, but I feel because he got through the rest of the inning. It was just that one little bad mistake that ended up being huge because 3 runs scored. But yeah, I hate to that's the only highlight we have of him this season. Because I think he is going to be a promising arm for us, but that being his only sole highlight is kind of a bad look. And I think Alexis Diaz, with more time, I think is going to be a big piece for us, at least to help eat innings. We'll see if he becomes a big player for us or if there's a trade going to happen. But yeah, I don't want to put enough judgment on those two guys right now.
Yeah, I feel bad for, Enriquez, because he obviously was probably trying to come out there and show what he's got. He hadn't really made an appearance this season yet, and really kind of, just be a piece that can help us get back into this game, because the offense was fighting that day. But then he, with one throw, baseball sometimes, but 3 runs, there was no chance after that. I really, it was over. And I feel bad for him. But I think that next round, they'll all come back strong. But you did mention something that I definitely want to ask you about, because I'm old enough to remember when the bullpen was just full of dogs. And no matter who came out, it was lights out. It didn't seem like it was that long ago. And right now, I have very little confidence in most of it. What is your take on what happened to our dogs, Anthony?
Oh man, some of them retired. That's the issue. So I will be making a confidence graphic, just so I can share it on my socials. But again, I stayed up till 2 a.m. last night, kind of just tossing and turning. So I have a total of, let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 guys. Okay, yeah, 14 guys. So my math is correct. And I separated them into 4 categories. First one, confident. Second one, somewhat confident. Third one, hurt / not enough info. And fourth and final category, no confidence.
Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not get him out of here, but I just don't trust when you come
in. Don't trust him.
And if I hear your music coming in, I'm like, oh boy, let me go sit down and or stand in the corner somewhere, because I just don't trust you right now. Now, things can change as the season goes on. Things can change. Some guy in the no confidence might move up to somewhat confident or to fully confident.
Okay,
so right now, my 4 guys that I'm confident in when I see them come out the bullpen, Jack Dreyer,
Yeah.
the human energizer, Alex Vesia, Ben Kasparius, and Blake Trinan. Those are the 4 guys where I look at them. I know Blake Trinan's hurt, but like track record, he's won world championships with us. He's pitched big innings. He's killing it in AAA right now. So those are my 4 guys.
Okay.
Somewhat confident, I got 3 guys. I got Anthony Banda, Justin Robleski, and Emmett Sheehan. The last 2, I know they're starters, but they're on the back end of a Shohei start, and like those guys have been proven that they'll eat innings, so that's why I'm somewhat confident in you. And for the most part, that's the role when like Shohei comes in. Like Shohei's only going 3, okay, then you guys got to take down the rest basically. The hurt / not enough info, I got 4 names: Brusdar Graterol, Michael Kopech, the 2 guys we just talked about, Edgardo Enriquez and Alexis Diaz. Brusdar and Michael, proven guys, but hurt. Haven't seen you much this year. And Edgardo and Alexis, I just want to see more of you guys.
Yeah.
And now the no confidence, I have 3 names, and like they're written in capital letters and like in like big font. And unfortunately, they're 2 of our biggest offseason acquires.
Oh no.
Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, and I have Will Klein there too. I just whenever he comes into the game, I just have no confidence in you getting outs. Lou Trevino used to be there, but he's not with the team no more. So yeah. As the season goes on, like some guys in the no confidence, maybe they work their way up to somewhat confident. But like right now, if we're playing Boston, I know we're playing them tomorrow, but like if I see Kirby Yates coming out the bullpen, I'm like, I'm very, very like nervous. And like I hate to say it because like I want to be confident, but like just the performance this season has been like so up and down, like where I just have no confidence in you.
Yeah, that's where the memes start coming out in my text chains, like Father, Son, Holy Spirit means when you see Scott coming out and people are texting me like, oh no, here it comes where we blow it. I'm like, I don't want to feel that way about a closer that we paid, I don't know, $1 billion for.
Yeah.
I know now Andrew Friedman, who didn't like to pay for closers ever, he'll never do that again.
He's never doing it again. Yep.
That's it. It's over. You know, he's in like whatever, suite he's in or wherever he's going from his office watching the game and just like he's that meme with like the cigarette and just like
yeah.
I can only imagine. I mean, tables are flipping because with Kirby Yates, Tanner Scott, I mean, even arguably like Conforto, whoever all people have been talking about, the acquisitions that we made in the off season, would you agree that they were pretty much buzz?
Basically, yeah. We went, off the top of my head, I think those 3 were the big 3, quote unquote, and after re-signing our own guys. But yeah, we kind of went 0 for 3. Yeah, it's been, and 2 of them being in the bullpen is the biggest issue because the bullpen, because we had guys like, what's his name, Huddy retire.
Evan is not there, right?
Yeah, Evan Phillips is actually a name where like, I think a lot of people are realizing like what Evan Phillips like does because his role is kind of like irreplaceable, and like if you just throw any other guy in there, he's not going to do what Evan Phillips did because he once upon a time was our closer, and then he got moved into that fireman role, and now he kind of just he's kind of just placeable wherever. So Evan Phillips is a really, really big hit to this bullpen, but yeah,
I took him for granted. I really did because like you would think like, the starting pitching, which, can sometimes really set you up and, have to cover whatever inning that you have to cover. And you would think 3 outs to like the average person's like, okay, 3 outs. But it has proven to be a problem this year. Our bullpen has covered more innings than any other team in baseball, over 450 at this point. The next lowest behind us is well behind us. Like they will never catch up. That's the White Sox. And we are, as a team, we have a 4.30 around their ERA as a team. That's not going to get it done in the postseason. It just isn't. So things need to change and they need to change quick. Luckily, Trevino, even though I'm sure he's a fabulous person, I was kind of when I saw that he was DFA'd because we did not have a good track record when he would be in the games. And so we had more losses than wins. I think we were 10-16. So that definitely had to a move that had to be made. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens the next week or so because we really do need to have a strong bullpen because frankly, we won the World Series because of the bullpen last year.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's like not even hyperbole. We won. And we need to have that in place again because I really do have confidence in our starting pitching. I'm worried about the bullpen right now, but I know that there's time to get it together. So luckily, I know that they're probably on the phone right now as we speak, and they're going to be making things happen, because I really do know our Dodgers will get it together defensively. We're getting Max Muncy back, and I think the great news is that sooner than later he's going to be joining us. He's already progressing enough to where he's going to be, hopefully, they say the next week, a rehab assignment, and he's already in Arizona taking live at bats. So that's going to be great to see him. Smith, who I know we've been talking about in the last few games, he has ranked 9th this week in the MLB hitting power rankings. So he's been incredible. So really, is it just a matter of us sharpening our defensive plays and errors, and our general position players are okay, right? Do you think that we're good with what we have?
Yeah, last year it was more of like it felt like we were doing all the little things correctly, and like it proved in the World Series too. Like when
Yeah.
we played against the Yankees, a team that didn't do the little things correctly, like the big difference it was. And
Mm-hmm.
now it feels like it's kind of reversed. Like the
Yeah.
Dodgers don't do any of the little things correctly at all, and like teams kind of just take advantage of it. It's kind of like, well, they'll find a way to beat themselves, kind of deal. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we've been finding creative ways to beat ourselves. So,
Exactly.
but I do feel like they'll figure it out on defense. The bullpen, yeah, I think it's just always going to be an issue, and I don't know if it's just like a confidence thing or just an overusage thing. Like when I saw that stat yesterday on Sportsnet LA that they had thrown like 450 innings, the
Yeah.
first thing that came to mind was like, damn, that's a lot of innings,
Too much.
and it's going to continue to grow basically just because of we just don't know how these guys are going to react, and like we're still trying to build up Shohei, so guys are going to go in there. But we also have like guys who have pitched for us that accumulate for those innings that are no longer on the team either. So
Yeah. Exactly.
as long as we have our core group of guys that we know that like, okay, these are the guys that we know are going to get it done, and like these other
Mhm.
guys are kind of just like spot fillers until the other guys get healthy, and then maybe that's the way they go. But I have no doubt that they're probably just like trying to nail down like the trade deadlines in about a week from now. So I feel like they have a list of guys and they're kind of just running through options now. Like, is it really worth giving up all this for this guy and stuff like that?
Mhm. No, you bring up a great point, because some of those innings that were racked up in the last couple months were because the starting pitching wasn't going long. They were getting out in 2, 3, 4, and 5 innings. They were not going 6 and 7. And in Glasnow's last outings, he has gone 6 and 7 innings.
Yeah.
Yamamoto's been going longer. Kershaw has, even though I think that he was really upset, we know he was super upset at his last outing. He was willing to go longer, and he's capable of it. So it's just a matter of all those bad defensive plays that didn't allow that for him. So there's really a lot of hope with our starting pitching and length now, showing that our bullpen might not have to work as much. Even yesterday, we won the game luckily, but that was only 2 innings that they had to go, and all it took was Kirby Yates 1 inning to screw that up. So
Yeah.
they may only have 2 innings, but when the bullpen is called upon, they need to really like be ready. That's their one job at this point. So hopefully they'll get a lot more rest now that the starters are showing promise. But when they do come out, they need to lock it down, because that's going to be key for winning. So yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. Those were just some of the big concerns I think we saw in the last couple of series. But now that we are moving into the next week, I think there's going to be some really good promise. Before we get into all the predictions, definitely wanted to get into some of the more interesting odds and ends things that we saw, or we're going to see at the stadium in the coming weeks. But even prior to that, there was some news today. I don't know if you are. I know we've been talking wrestling on all of the previous
Yeah.
episodes. Be a big topic. There's just a lot of crossover with Dodger fans and wrestling fans. And so today there was the news that Hulk Hogan, who is a major name in the wrestling world, did pass away. So condolences to his family. And from myself growing up, I was a child in the 80s. So even though I wasn't watching, wrestling consistently, you knew who Hulk Hogan was. There was so much
Yeah.
media around him. And I do remember, the famous, he's ripping off his shirt. I always remember just the images of him as one of the main reasons why I think people knew who wrestling was, who wouldn't normally have gotten into it prior. So, And I also think that there was something posted on DodgersBeat.com today, which I hadn't seen before. Tommy Lasorda, our former manager, was the ring announcer in 1986 for WrestleMania 2. So just big stuff in the 80s. And I kind of just wanted your take on, your impressions of Hulk Hogan and kind of what he did to like lay the foundation for wrestling.
Yeah, the Hulkster has a very complicated relationship with a lot of people, myself included. I never really was a big Hulk Hogan fan. Maybe because like by the time I became a fan of wrestling, like these cartoonish guys, like I really wasn't really into that. I was more into the guys who the way they talk on the microphone. So like if they were like very good on the microphone and were able to kind of catch my attention with what they said, like
Yeah.
I'll use a few examples. The Rock, everyone knows who The Rock is.
Totally.
If you can smell what The Rock is cooking, one of his most famous catchphrases. Like he became a Hollywood star. Stone Cold Steve Austin, another guy who was good on the mic. So Hogan was actually that first guy who kind of transcended the wrestling world into the mainstream audience. Like a lot of people, like you said, you didn't have to be a fan of wrestling, but you knew who Hulk Hogan was, basically. You knew if you took your vitamins, you said your prayers, and you had these 22-inch pythons, brother, that stuff like that would come natural. But yeah, when I saw the clip today, we actually posted it on Dodgers Beat. I actually never knew that Lasorda was the ring announcer, and I think it kind of just glossed over it. But like, Tommy Lasorda would be like a great manager. Like most of these guys, like I said, like if you're not good on the microphone, they'll pair you with someone who can actually talk for you. And I can just like, when I saw the clip, I'm like, oh, Lasorda would be the perfect guy to kind of just like, for a quiet guy, kind of just like start talking smack for him, like kind of promote him, like, yeah, this is my guy. Because we all knew Tommy. Like, there's clips of him like talking smack to the opposing team, to his own players. So like, he'd be the perfect like kind of manager. But like, yeah, pop culture wise, Hulk Hogan was very, very big. It's sad that he went out the way he did, and like he tarnished his legacy. But I think he has enough in the bank, like where he's enough popular, significant to like pop culture and wrestling, where he's kind of just going to outlive it. He's been part of major angles. Wrestling fans will know what the NWO is. It's still a very popular shirt. Actually, I used to say like the Dodgers have to be more like the NWO. They have to be like the bad guys. This is back when we had what was it? What's his name? Trey Turner on the team. Will Smith. The year we lost to who did we lose to in the playoffs? Oh, it was the Padres. Yeah, it was the Padres. I'm like, we just got way too many nice guys on this team, man. We need more like, I don't want to say bad guys,
Edge.
but with attitude. We need more edge, basically. And the NWO was like kind of that first like wrestlers who have like edge. It wasn't more like cartoony anymore, but like people were kind of into that like 90s like angst and like kind of like against like authority and stuff like that. And I always felt like the Dodgers just needed that like that angsty side, which I felt like we had last year. Last year was like a perfect angle of like, yeah, we got a bunch of guys here like who are like kind of like over being called losers basically. And like they keep saying like 2020 doesn't count, 2020 doesn't count. And like we saw it in the playoffs, like they kind of flipped like a switch in their head mentally. We're like, no, we're not gonna have any of that, and we're just gonna like bully you guys basically into submission, which they ended up doing. So yeah. But yeah, Hulk Hogan, a very significant figure in wrestling. People always hate the bad guy. He was more popular for being the bad guy than I think the good guy towards the end of his career. But Hollywood Hogan, I guess, will live on forever, and he's probably on his way to talk to Tommy Lasorda to see if he can get him to call his ring announcement one more time. But yeah, Hulk Hogan, a complicated figure, but like may he rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace for sure. But yeah, definitely was interesting seeing Lasorda today. And I was reminded that Lasorda himself he knew everyone in the entertainment world across like all sports and movies. I mean, Sinatra loved coming to Dodger Stadium, and he had just so many photos and autographs and stories that he would just tell when he was alive about all the different people that he knew. So he wasn't just about Dodger baseball, even though I know he lived and breathed it. He was really well connected to pop culture in general and just everyone. He was a people person. So it was really awesome seeing that clip of Lasorda. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check that out on DodgersBeat.com. But I also kind of wanted to get your take because the last time that we were talking on this episode, there was a mural that was going to be unveiled at Dodger Stadium. And so it is of Fernando Valenzuela. It's in the left field loge area. And when I saw it, I thought it just captured him. What did you think?
I thought the same thing too. I'm kind of hoping I get to see it when I go for Kobe night. Yeah, Fernando's impact. Well, I can't always like put into words what it means, but a lot of people will know what it means. But I actually kind of like the beauty of it. I like that they presented his family with the golden jersey. It's kind of like a little unique touch. Because I
Yes.
know he did pass away a couple days before we kicked off our World Series bid last year, so it was kind of like it was a very emotional like few couple days leading up to Game 1, and then like that
Yeah.
emotional release after Game 1 kind of helped us like all kind of like move forward. So
Mhm.
yeah, I can't understate what Fernando means to this community, to everyone, to my family, my household. So yeah, I'm kind of glad that he's finally getting like displayed all over Dodger Stadium now, as he deserves to be.
And it's a permanent mural. So that is
Yeah.
something to which I like because, as you mentioned earlier, with your kind of listening to Dodger baseball as a child with your grandfather, that was my story as well. It's the first kind of time I ever remember listening to Dodger games when my grandfather would play it in the house when he was watching me. And I just remember that was kind of like listening to Vince's voice and then knowing that Fernando Valenzuela was a big part of, the pride in our family that someone looked like us and was representing so well. And, even though he's no longer with us, I feel like his memory, his legacy will always be with Dodger fans. And I just really love seeing that. In the photo that when they unveiled with his family, one of his firstborn granddaughter was actually a former student of mine, sweetest girl. So it was nice seeing the picture. And from what I know of the entire family, they're lovely people. So just hope that was a very special moment for them. And I love that the Dodgers franchise itself has really kind of embraced them in the way that they have even in the last, all these years, but especially since, he passed. So that was awesome to see. Another thing I definitely want to talk about, because when I saw it this week regarding another upcoming promotion that they just added on August 15th, there's going to be, didn't know what this was, now I do, Demon Slayer Night at the stadium. There's going to be another giveaway of a co-branded hat celebrating the highly popular Japanese anime film Demon Slayer. And I think it's I'm going to say it all wrong, but Kimetsu no Yaiba Infinity Castle. The hats rock. And I'm this is going to be just another popular night. Already looks like it's getting a lot of attention. Did you know what Demon Slayer was? It's kind of a really cool thing.
Yeah, I have friends who watch this show.
Mhm.
I actually got a bone to pick with the Dodgers because the most popular anime in Japan is Dragon Ball, and they haven't had a Dragon Ball night, and that's the one that where I've seen it from like beginning to end, basically. So I
Yeah,
got
maybe.
beef with the Dodgers. Like, hopefully, if it's not this year, hopefully next year they have one. But yeah,
Yes.
Demon Slayer. Like, I have a lot of buddies who like watch anime more than I do. I kind of like in and out. But
Mhm.
yeah, they're kind of excited for this, and like I'm kind of excited because they're kind of like displaying like Japan's like pop culture towards the American fan base. Like maybe a lot of people don't know what Demon Slayer is that typically would watch it. So maybe
Exactly.
like you're opening up the door for like a new fan base to kind of like get involved into this anime, or like in previous weeks the One Piece anime. So we'll see. Like we'll see where it goes from there.
I like that you said that because I actually didn't. I'm a huge Dodger fan, but I guess not super schooled on the Japanese pop culture side that they have been bringing into the stadium. So when you taught me about One Piece or when I'm seeing this, it makes me like, hey, I want to look it up now. I want to see what it's about. And I find it to be just something that they're really just taking, just they're killing it with the Japanese market. And I mean, as far as any future team that signs Japanese players, I just don't see them really cornering the market for Japanese fan base like the Dodgers are. Do you think any other franchise will ever be able to catch up to the Dodgers in terms of the Japanese connection?
Uh, maybe the Cubs.
Mm,
Maybe the Cubs. Yeah, maybe the Cubs. Other than that, maybe up in the Bay Area, up in San Francisco. I forget the player's name. They chant his name. They even have his own little section out there in the outfield. I feel bad. This is terrible. I'm just blanking
oh,
on his name.
I'm liking as well.
Yeah. Uh, but I don't think to the level as to the Dodgers, at least, because we have the three-headed, I hate to say three-headed dragon, but we do have the three-headed dragon of Sasaki, Yamamoto, and Ohtani. And it's not like we have them only for like 2-3 years. We have them for a while. Like, they're going to be Dodgers for a while. So, like, this is kind of just like the beginning of it. And like I said, I feel like we're going to be going, the Dodgers at least will be going to Japan pretty frequently, whether it's for friendlies or just to start the season and stuff like that. So I feel like this is kind of just introduction for the American fans to the Japanese culture, and then when the Americans go over there, we introduce our culture to them. So it's kind of like a show and tell kind of thing deal here that's going on, basically.
I love it because I think it's also like a future investment for there's a little boy out there somewhere right now who could be maybe not the next Shohei, but something kind of like just as amazing in his own way, that is wearing a Dodger hat right now and watching all the footage and seeing what he could possibly become. And I just think that the Dodgers really set up a really amazing future for Japanese crossover into an MLB, even more so now than I believe it's the 12 players that play in MLB that are Japanese born. So I'm loving it because I think diversity is one of the strengths in LA, and I think that is awesome to see that every single week. So now that brings us to the fun part of the show, when we look forward to what's coming. We are going to play the Red Sox next. And then that's going to be followed by the Reds. Now, neither team is at the top of their division. They're kind of both on the cusp, but each in third place in their respective divisions. But it looks like we're going to be seeing Emmett Sheehan, Kershaw, and May pitch. And one of those days, we're going to see our old pal Walker Buehler. So what are your predictions for the Red Sox series, followed by the Red series?
Man, I'm scared for the Red Sox because I think Garrett Crochet lines up against us well, too. I'm very, very scared.
He does.
I don't want to pick against them, but man, I'm gonna say we take 2-1 against the Red Sox.
Okay.
I feel we win the first game. The second game is gonna be tough. Garrett Crochet, he's mowed down a lot of people, so I feel like we'll drop that one. And I think we'll win the third one against Buehler. I just feel like he's been kind of very up and down, and I feel like the emotions might get to him. I think they might give him his ring as well there too. So
he still got his ring?
Well, I don't know if they've given him earlier in the season, unless I'm blanking on it. But like this is kind of like the perfect opportunity to give it to him, because when are you going to see him ever? Unless he gets traded to a division rival or something like that. So I could be completely like just wrong and like speculating on that. But so I hate to say it, but I hope we beat Buehler. And then against the Reds, I would be disappointed if we don't win 2-1 or 2-3 against them.
2-3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Because we got Shohei and Glasnow and going in that series, and Yamamoto as well. So I don't want to predict sweep, because the last time I did, the Angels almost swept us. So I'm not going to say sweep, but 2-1 at least there.
I just want series wins consistently. Yeah. I can handle losing one here and there to teams, but yeah, we cannot get swept again. That was a huge wake-up call, and just I think the low point, Dave Roberts called it rock bottom. I think we're hopefully past our rock bottom stage now with losing and getting swept. So let's just hope the next 2 months are a lot stronger, but there's a lot of reason to believe that we're going to be okay. But yeah, I'm definitely worried about the Crochet outing. But then, funny thing is, sometimes when you have like Cy Young caliber players, we actually do pretty well against them. It's the ones that I think that, this pitcher has like, a 5 or 6 ERA, we're going to be just fine. And we're not fine at all. They suddenly look like out there, like they could win a Cy Young. So it's
who pitched against us yesterday was like Chris Paddock. And like, he had been awful all year. And of course, he sees the Dodgers and he turns into like basically Greg Maddux. So
I mean, he had trouble he would never put players away. It's like 2 strikes, and then he couldn't get that last, like he couldn't put them down. And he had 0 problem with that yesterday. It felt like, okay. Yeah. And he had confidence, he was shutting them all down. And luckily we took it thanks to Freddy, but I don't know if we really deserved to win that game the way we did, because he really did make us look foolish out there most of the game. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how, as we transition into August and September, it's going to get real now, Anthony. So all of that's going to be fun. But yeah, that's do us up for me and my notes, unless you have anything else.
No, I'm pretty good here. I will try to have this confidence meter in a graphic form.
Oh, I need to
Hopefully
see
tomorrow morning, yeah. And I'll
that. I
keep it
love.
updated as every week as we go. So
Oh yeah, we can really talk about it because I think I pretty much agree with it. I like that you gave Kasperi such a high rating because, he must have felt awful when he walked the bases
yeah,
loaded, but definitely an anomaly for him. So he's one of those that he's got it. Every pitcher gets a bad day, but I definitely think that your ratings are pretty on point right now. So we'll see how they go. We'll see who's even still with us, and we'll talk all about it in an upcoming special edition episode where we talk about trade deadlines and all that great stuff coming up very soon. So all of that is great. But yes, that is going to do it for us on this episode of the Bleed Los podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to check out DodgersBeat.com for all the interviews, articles, all the latest coverage of the Los Angeles Dodgers, pregame, postgame, you name it, it's all there. Don't forget to check out our handles. You can find me at Instagram at Ravine Queen 1958. You can find Anthony on X at Anthony Acosta _. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week. Go Dodgers.
go Dodgers.